Hello fellow humans and welcome to this week's shop review. Today we're going to look at 3 different shops. We're going to look in-game, we're going to look Steam, and we are going to look at the Wargaming shop. Because in the Wargaming shop, things are often cheaper than they are here. If we go down to the most important part, the tank section, for example, this thing right here is 36 euros. If we go to the same bundle in the Wargaming shop here, it is 30 euros, which means it is cheaper here. Same does go for the other bundle as well, because obviously in Wargaming's own shop, they don't have to pay the 30% commission to Steam, Android, or Apple, so they can offer their stuff cheaper while making more profit. The same goes for the Lucky containers, for example. In-game it costs 28 euros, here it costs 23. However, I wouldn't recommend this because obviously it does include a heap of tanks and not a lot of them are really worth this amount of money anyway. So if you are looking at the Batchat and the Type 57, both are pretty great vehicles. The Batchat is somewhat overrated, I mean severely overrated at this point. However, both of them are great vehicles and I definitely recommend picking them up for your collection. Type makes great credits, it's easy to play, Barask's fun, so that is a pretty good deal here. The 111's horrible, the Black Prince is horrible. This thing is 350, you get the gold, you get the premium time, I think that's worth it. Simply because of that already. These two tanks, they're solid, they're good fun. However, they're useless for making creds, obviously, given they're not tier 8. So, if you are a tank collector, they can be a valuable addition to your collection. However, if you're not a tank collector, and if you're just looking for a couple of premium tanks to make some creds, then this, for example, is a way better option with the MX M49, which is still a pretty good vehicle. You know, it's not amazing anymore. However, it is still a definitely very good vehicle that can allow you to get good results while being relatively easy to play as well. The Lorraine, on the other hand, it's very, very difficult to play. Also, it has rubber wheels, just FYI. And it's pretty difficult to play. But if you can play the Lorraine, if you think you're up to it, then 11k gold for these two and the bundle. These are unfortunately locked to the tanks, which makes them useless. However, this bundle for 11k I think is a pretty good deal. And obviously, crates are always bad, don't buy them. And so is the draw. On Steam, we have a couple of special bundles going on right now that are really interesting for PC players. You've got some World of Warships, World of Tanks, and World of Warplanes. Who the hell plays World of Warplanes? Stuff in here that can be useful. And also this thing here includes a couple of Blitz items as well. However, if we look at the Blitz DLCs, then there are a couple in here. Some of them are discounted. You, for example, get the FCM50T, which is a piece of shit tank, but you can get it very cheaply. So I guess, and then here you get 7 days of premium, and you can also get something like a Type 62, which I wouldn't recommend, because even though it's a funny tank, it's not worth 25 euros. There's a free pack right here that you can get, and then, yeah, Combined Strike Force, it's a Panzer 5-4, which you do get included in this bundle up here, and then you also have the Barask and Bonuses pack. It's 22 euros for the Barask. As we just saw earlier, the Barask and the Type 57 are 30 euros, so I don't know if this is that much worth it, because, you know, it just doesn't include that much extra stuff. Obviously, it has the 30 days of premium, and it has 25 certificates that are not locked to the Batchat. So it's a timed offer, but I would still get the Barask and the Type 57 over this thing, if you happen to be on Steam. Back to the Blitz shop, and, I mean, there isn't really anything good left here. Lockboxes are always a bad deal, so are crates like the Bizonte. This thing, great choice. It might be a great choice if you get a good tank, otherwise it's not. So it's a gamble, again, which I wouldn't take. And that is about it for the shop. So now let's play the Barask and don't buy creds. Buying creds is most of the time a pretty horrible value for your money. And with the Barask on the new Middleburg, which is still the old Middleburg because they did update the graphics, but it didn't update the intelligence of players, which means they will still continue to go into the city and hilariously lose every single time. So, yeah, don't go city on this map, people. It's a bad idea. Unless you're a mouse, but even then I wouldn't. So, this thing still works, this angle right here. This can still be very, very useful to peek, because even though you don't have gun depression, you can get quite a lot going, because obviously this hill here is bent in a way where you can get your gun down perfectly. So, come on, get up. There we go. Now, why do I say this thing is severely overrated? Because there are a lot of people out there that would be like, oh my god, this tank is OP, and it is not. Though it has an autoloader, yes, so does a Progetto. So, Is the Batchat OP? I think not. So basically, it does unload pretty quickly, which is nice. However, you have a heap of downsides for that. You don't have any armor, obviously, and you do have good mobility, but it is not excellent by any means. And the accuracy is not great, the DPM is pretty horrible, so you basically just have the clip and that's it. It's not what an OP tank is. Now, you have to be very good to get the most out of this clip, because if you don't, well, you have 18 seconds of reload, you will spend quite a long time sitting there waiting, achieving absolutely nothing. Just like city players achieve absolutely nothing. At least they're holding up the enemies, so that's good. And here's the thing, those enemies, they're in a city, which means they're going to lose, which is good. And now I'm going to have to wait for the challenger to reload the shell. And another thing is, two-shot autoloaders tend to be a bit iffy, because if you just get one shell, you're going to have to reload 2 shells, even though you only had to reload 1. So that's also a bit of a downside there, so it does stack up. And even though the vehicle is performing pretty well, which, I mean, all you gotta do is find an enemy that's not looking at you, sit in front of them, shoot twice, and then disappear. So in that regard, it does work very nicely, and it is pretty damn fun tank. So, let's see. Obviously the 2 guys are over there, and the 2 shots would normally be enough to take out the IS. I'm gonna purposely ignore the ammo because he's gonna get taken out anyway. Now we can attempt to, well, actually, let's get the kill, and then this tiny little stock boy, let's see what we can do to him. And there's that. So it works. It's great fun. If you know how to use this vehicle, it can absolutely be worth it. I definitely recommend that Type 57 and Barask bundle, just like I recommend the MX M449 and the Lorraine. Same dynamic there. You have an easy, solid, credit-making heavy tank and a fun medium tank added to that. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Goodbye.